And I'm starting the YouTube live as well.
Keeps on dropping me.
Are you here, Carlos? Okay, we are live YouTubing. Carlos is here. Noel is here. Everyone is here for the last practice speech. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. Yep, can you hear me all right from here?
Yes, I can.
Oh.
Carlos, are you all right? Maybe you have too many apps open on your laptop?
I'm back now. No, it said that the connection was flaky, and then I had to reload everything. Can you hear me okay?
Very well.
Okay, good.
I can as well.
Wonderful. So welcome all of the live viewers on this Legal Creative last pitching practice session. We are looking forward to hearing Noel present ANIKA from Melbourne, Australia. And as a panelist, we have Carlos Zapien. Hello, Carlos.
Hello, everyone. How you doing?
Very good, thanks. Carlos is founder and CEO of Westmount Solutions, Inc., a tech company who is doing a lot of work with lawyers, hence in legal tech. And he is also based in Montreal, Canada, just like me. And we've had the chance to work together on previous Global Legal Hackathon events. So we are very excited that Carlos has accepted to join us to give some feedback to ANIKA team for their prep to the finals. So the way it works is ANIKA, Noel, for ANIKA, you will have 3 minutes to pitch. I'm not going to stop you if you go beyond the 3 minutes, but bear in mind that for the final in New York, it's going to be, I believe, 3 minutes. So try to keep that in mind. And after Carlos, you will have the chance to ask questions and provide feedback.
Fantastic.
Any questions?
Go ahead, guys.
Great. So, Noel, whenever you're ready, you have the floor.
Okay. We all know that access to justice is a global problem. We've read about it, seen it. Some of us have struggled against it. But what's more difficult to grasp is the gravity of the problem. 4 billion people can't access justice. That's more than half the global population who rely on a justice system which, when they need it, won't protect them. And at the same time, the legal wealth of untapped resources. Worldwide, there are millions of law students, most of whom are struggling to access practical training. This is a complete waste of potential. Fortunately, we have a solution. Introducing ANIKA, an online platform where individuals can access legal advice, which is 100% free. It works by connecting these 4 billion people with law students enrolled in a practical course with one of our partner universities. ANIKA deals with specific areas of law which are suitable for online advice. Those with legal problems can seek advice on the ANIKA web app by following the intuitive process. No wait lists and no traveling to legal centers. Each case is sent to a law student who drafts the advice, assisted by ANIKA's artificial intelligence, which will continuously improve by deep learning. An experienced lawyer then reviews the draft and makes any necessary changes. The final advice is sent to the client and feedback to the student. Our client gets high-quality, free legal advice, and our law student gets real-world experience. So, how does it work? University partnerships are at the core of ANIKA's business model. In Australia, the average clinical placement costs a university more than $5,000. At a fee of $2,000 per student, ANIKA enables them to give their students practical training at 40% of the original cost. Best of all, our business model is completely scalable, and with only 10,000 students enrolled, we plan to reach 20 million in revenue in year 5. We knew ANIKA had to be tailor-made to address issues faced by our users, so we reached out to all potential users to improve the ANIKA experience. First, once available, we will implement ANIKA on a permission blockchain guaranteeing the security of sensitive information and automating conflict checks. We added a chatbot and several other features to guide students through the process of drafting advice and analyzing legal issues. Our society pours billions of dollars into developing legal infrastructure that ultimately very few people can access. This is why we created ANIKA. ANIKA means a better prepared generation of lawyers and legal advice for those who need it most. Okay, thank you. Now, did you hear that, Carlos?
I heard
Are you done?
everything really well.
Okay, great. Yep.
So if you're
Okay,
done,
so you're
Carlos, is your time for Q&A.
okay. Thank you. All right. This is very interesting. You mentioned artificial intelligence. You mentioned blockchain. You mentioned a bunch of a lot of buzzwords. But my first question is, okay, you mentioned about your business model.
Yes.
This is how are you planning? I mean, you're saying that students are going to be enrolled. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. You're saying that students are going to be used from the universities to answer legal questions. Is that right?
That's correct. They'll be involved in drafting the advice before it's sent to a supervising lawyer.
Okay, and students from what? Oh, so there's going to be a supervising lawyer that's going to be analyzing all this information. What are you going to be using artificial intelligence for?
Okay, so at the start process, on the start of the process, when the client inputs their facts of the case, so to translate those facts into the relevant, so the AI recommends the relevant legislation and the relevant case law, and also on top of that, learning from the prior advices on similar disputes. We understand that students might need guidance giving real advice. So the ability to use the AI so that the student gets recommendations on, what areas maybe they should have touched on, what areas they touched on that other advices didn't touch on. That sort of stuff would be what we would look at.
Okay, and the initial AI engine, I assume that, I mean, in the beginning it's not going to have any data, or which one are you going to leverage to start with?
So at the start we won't have the data, but we will have the supervising lawyer able to do a little bit more of the guidance at the start. But yeah, when we say it'll continuously learn, we have a high amount of advices being drafted. So we envision it being able to pick up these things fairly quickly. And at the start, I think that recommending the relevant legislation, case law, and just giving giving prior advices as a library for the student to be guided by would be enough for students to do a good job.
Okay. Okay, I see that to me that would be initially problematic. You're mentioning AI, but you don't have any data yet to process. So that would be my initial point to, that you guys probably might want to look at to have a little bit more foundation, a little bit more meat in there. The second one is, you were saying that, you're talking about the world and all the scalability and everything. For a service like this, because law changes from country to country, from state to province to province, I think you should have a plan of, starting in one city and then one particular location, one particular set of regulation laws, and then make sure that one's stable, and then you expand to the next one in another university. What's your plan for that?
Basically what you said, that's definitely the plan. Once we're in the testing phase and And then once we actually launch it to students and clients, it will be within one jurisdiction.
Okay. I think you should mention that during your pitch, because you just mentioned, we're going to grow all these amounts by 2020, I think you said. If you don't give me meat again, if you don't give me, a plan, a strategy as to how you think you're going to start and then how you're planning on growing, to me, it's going to go over my head. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, the relationship with the universities. How are you going to approach universities and how are you going to convince them to participate in this? Universities are very wary of participating or not participating with anything that's not related with big companies, and they're very weary of involving their students into any profitable endeavor that might affect, the reputation of the university. How do you plan on making them accept this?
Okay. So, with regards to your first question, we have contacted several universities. Within a few days, 5 of them got back to us expressing interest. And I think it's because, at least in Victoria, there's this, universities, law schools have started offering a clinical guarantee, ensuring that law students will get, practical legal experience. Now, like ANIKA is an excellent tool for them to help them deliver on that. And I think on top of that, with some law schools doing it, that means that others will probably follow suit. So the demand for clinical externships for law schools will be higher. And we've had very encouraging negotiations with universities, and we have one that has agreed that to look at ANIKA to enroll students in ANIKA once it's operational.
Okay, and then
now your
students
second
are
question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No,
Okay.
Go ahead.
So your second question about the reputation. I think we are a for-profit business, but it's for a social purpose, and it is offering people who won't get the legal advice that they need. And I think that from that angle, it does look good, and I don't foresee that being that large of an issue.
Okay. All right. So it's something for you to explore. This is, in my experience, something, at least in the US and Canada, that's something that universities are very weary of. If you don't come highly recommended, or you don't have the contacts from, the bar or somebody reputable lawyers, and even as such, they would think twice before getting involved in this, unless there's a big gain for in terms of educational value and purpose for the university. That would be just my comment on that for you guys to consider. And then for the students, you're saying that you're going to pay them a certain amount, or what? I didn't understand that part very well.
Yeah. So the students would be doing this as part of a practical course enrolled in their university. So they are essentially paying for it with their student fees. We would be charging universities $2,000 per student enrolled in the practical unit. And we have, in Australia, this cost of a practical unit is usually averaging around $5,000. So I think that kind of goes to your last question as well, as what are we offering? It's practical experience at a much lower rate, which I think would be, a big reason why the universities would look into us.
Interesting. So the student would be paying pretty much to participate on this and working for you.
So as it is, students are already paying for their law degrees. And from the research that we've done, mainly in Australia, but also law students around the world, the opportunities for practical legal training are quite limited. They're usually limited to the academic elite, and it's on a volunteer basis for them. So they are essentially paying for it now. They would be essentially doing the same thing with ANIKA, except the universities would be paying, less, 40% less than the average. sorry, 40% of the average cost that they are paying now, at least in Victoria.
Okay. When you approach universities and you explain this business model to them, what was their response?
So at the moment, it's more of, looking at what exactly the student was offered with this course. In terms of in discussing exact facts and figures, we did try not to get too into that while we're still in this testing phase with a lot of, a lot of variables. The figure of $2,000 was seen as actually quite conservative by some people in the industry, and I think when you consider that people are paying, universities are paying $5,000, so in terms of the business model, they are getting real world practical experience, and it's at a lower cost. It's not real time. It's not in person, but there's also value in law students becoming tech proficient.
Okay. My recommendation would be to guys, when you go to the finals and all this, find like a more solid answer to this, because I'm still not convinced. So if you can do a little bit more research and prepare that, and back it up, so it doesn't sound like a scammy kind of a thing, for that you're going to be making students pay to work for you. That would be, I mean, the project sounds really good. It's just, a matter of the way that you're spinning it, maybe, or the way that you're backing it up. Just find a kind of a more interesting way to phrase it, maybe.
Okay.
The next thing is,
just quickly on that point. So at the moment, I guess practical legal training for students, it's done on a volunteer basis outside of your degree, and inside the degree, where you are able to get this opportunity, which a few of the law students are.
I completely agree.
Yeah, so it would just be in terms of saying that, but in a more attractive way.
Yeah, because right now it sounds like you're coming to university to get cheap labor. Like when a student comes to you, it's different, because I'm going somewhere and I'm going there, and I know I'm not going to get paid, but I'm working in a law firm, or like with a group of lawyers, and I'm going and filing briefs and all that, and in that place. But here it's like, okay, I mean, in the end, it doesn't make. It's very similar to research assistants and all that in engineering programs and all that. It's cheap labor. Like I did that. I worked for NASA that way. I was cheap labor for NASA at one point, and that's the way it works. And they gave me that. Now I have that in my resume. I work for NASA, which is pretty cool. But when with lawyers, it's something that it's a bit, and there's a reason why it hasn't been done yet. So just back it up a little more. You're talking artificial intelligence, you're talking blockchain, you're talking all these things. It's a lot of technology. You need a big amount of money to start with. What's going to be your initial financing model?
So we're aware that the blockchain technology has a long way to go before it's ready for the wide market. So in the startup phase, all data will be stored on an encrypted, centralized database. And we're confident that once the technology is market ready, we'll implement ANIKA on the permission blockchain, privacy and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I'm referring to how you're going to finance implementing all this technology to start. Like you're looking for VCs. Do you have any interest from anybody? What's the plan?
Yeah. Okay. So, aside from the blockchain part, where we just have the initial, what we need for the initial MVP, we pitched this to, a university, Monash University, and they have agreed to resource the tech. And so that's something that we're going to we're very excited for after this competition wraps up. And so, yeah, at the moment we envision that being the starting point, and then we would also look at things like, there are government grants for social justice, access to justice projects.
Do you
And
have?
yep.
Sorry, continue.
And then on top of that, just looking at VCs.
You have VCs, okay. What's the initial cost that you're thinking this is gonna run you guys into?
Yep. So still at a pretty preliminary stage. We haven't done proper testing of the MVP. We're looking at, just to get this up and going so we can start hitting the clients, it's something around $50,000. But like I said, there's still you're looking a little bit alarmed. Do you think that
it's very low?
Yeah,
that's low. That you
50,000, I mean, just to get not even one area of law necessarily, but just the high incidence matters in one area of law.
okay.
I think it's. Yeah.
Another recommendation for my part would be spend a bit more time thinking of cost and back it up. Think of not only the operational, not only the cost, for like what you were saying, the section for law, but the technology and how you're going to implement this, because you're mentioning artificial intelligence, you're mentioning, say, even a database, and the operation of that 50,000 would be, it's like really, really low. I don't think you could even implement anything with that. And then, when you're in front of the judges and, in your final, they're going to think, okay, this is not ready. Okay, if you want to get to the point where you're selected and you get financing and all that, you have to think of the actual cost. So try to make spend more time with your team thinking of budget and how much this is going to cost, so that you can present us more like a breakdown if you're asked for it. If I ask you right now for a breakdown, I don't think you have one. It's good to have that prepared.
Okay.
Yeah. Very good. Actually, it's a very interesting project. I like it a lot. Like if you can, take a look at those things, I'm really looking forward to seeing your next phase and how you guys develop during the final. And hopefully this will be a real project in the near future.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for your kind words, and thanks for taking the time to give us the feedback.
That's my pleasure. Do you have any questions for me by any chance?
So yeah, I guess from an at the startup phase, technology wise, you already gave us some recommendations for what we should put to the judges, but just in terms of a legal tech startup, do you have any advice?
Well, whenever you're like talking tech, you have to really think of all like they say, the devil is in the details. Look at that, because something that you think, again, that costs $50,000, it's going to end up going to $1 million really quickly. And I mean, you were mentioning that you're going to get resources from the university to help you with the implementation. I like the sound of that, because you're getting free labor or cheap labor for the law, and also cheap labor for the implementation of technology. But it's a perfect business model. Just spin it the right way.
Thanks very much, Carlos.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Carlos, for your time and insightful feedback. Thank you, Noel, for participating today at such an early time for you in Melbourne, Australia. Well, we wish you much success, and we will see how you go in the final round. This closes the pitch sessions for the day. There will be, though, a closing session I will be offering in a half hour. So stay tuned for the last session about legal creativity. For that can be a good way for you to know how you can bring more creativity and innovation into your product as well. If you don't have any further questions or comments, we'll just keep going and wish everyone a good rest of the day. And thank you again for your time.
Thank you, everyone. Best of luck.
Take care.
Bye.